Hello art friends, I'm Robin. Today we're going to learn how to create even more colours from our 10 Magiclay candy colours. We'll be using that fish chart that we made in our first activity just as a guide to draw our fish. Then we'll fill up the shape with lots of blended coloured balls. Let's get started. Now let's see what we're going to need. I've got my Magiclay candy colours here. I've got the white, some modelling tools, a marker, some scissors. I've got a piece of A4 paper, an acetate sheet to work on, and also I've got the fish chart that we did in our very first activity. We're going to use that to create our fish. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to use our fish chart that we did in our very first activity, and I'm going to choose this body this time and this double tail and maybe this curvy fin here. Now mine's going to be fairly small, but you can make yours whatever size you like. So I'm going to start off with a small body. So let's have a look. Little mouth. And then that double tail. And then the nice curly fin. Curly fin. Now, this is about blending colours, and I'm going to start with one colour and gradually change it to another colour. So I'm going to have to divide this into 4 pieces. So 2, and that's just to give us a bit of a guide. I don't want to have my colours definitely on those lines, but it just gives me a chance to see where the transitions are. So I'm going to pop that away. And we're going to put our piece under our acetate sheet. I'm going to work on top of that with the colours. Now let's get our colours ready. I've chosen the blue and the purple today to create my fish, and we're going to start from the blue and blend it up to the purple. I've already rolled 6 balls here of the blue and of the purple. Now, I hope you've drawn your fish, and I hope you've chosen your colours and you've been able to blend them into 4 different colours. Let's get started. I'm going to just pinch off little bits of this one, and I'm going to fill in that part of the tail of the body with little bits of blue. Now to start off with, it's just going to be the one colour, and that's just my little blue. So I'm just going to... Now when you're putting your little balls down, do make sure you press them onto the other ones so that they do stick. Little ones here. Now this is all blue at the end, but as we get closer to that line, I'm going to start to introduce that next colour. So I might just do one more of those there. Then I'm going to get a little bit of this colour, just a little bit, pop it down, and then maybe another little one just here, and then go back to this blue and keep going. Maybe another one, and then maybe the middle one again. Some ones, and as I'm getting closer to that line, I'm hoping to then do lots more of this colour, maybe a couple more of this one. It's about trying to get a nice blend happening so you don't have a line where one colour starts and the other finishes. So we're trying to just blend that in there. So here we go. Already we can see that secondary colour there. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. A little bit of the other blue. So I'm going to work with these 2 blues, getting less and less of this one and more of this one until I get close to that next line, and then I'm going to introduce this one. Ready to join in? Great. Now, as you can see, the blue, the transition colours are all ready to go. I'm going to continue working and finishing my fish. You might want to start your fish. You might want to press pause and join me later. I have finished off the back of the fish. I'm just giving it a bit of a press so that all those little balls stick together. And now we can see that transition from the blue right through to the purple. And you can see how we've got this lightish bluey colour, then the purpley bluey colour, and then the purple. I've chosen red and black and yellow, and I've chosen some white to finish off our fish. So first of all, we'll do the little face. Little bit of the white, remembering always to make sure that's all sealed up so that it's nice and soft for the next time you're going to use it. Not much, it's a little face, so I'm going to pinch it with my fingers until I get a sort of a face shape. Now remember, the fish underneath is just a guideline. You might want to go over, make it bigger or smaller, it doesn't matter. It's just a bit of a guide. So let's have a look. I think that my face will be going there. Cool. Now I wanted a mouth, so I'm going to use my scissors just to cut a bit of a mouth out. There he goes. I'll pop that in there. And there's my face. Now the eye, I'm going to start off with a little bit of red. Squashing down. Then maybe I might choose a little back to our blue. I love this yellow. I'm going to see if I can put a bit of this yellow on. Rolling a bit of a snake. Roll. And a very thin snake for the black. I'm going to go right round my, there we go. Right round. Use my scissors. And then a very tiny, some more black there. I might just fix up a bit of that yellow there. I'm not quite happy with that yellow. I might just give him a lid. There we go. And maybe a dot of white. A very small dot of white. There you go. There's my fish's eye. It's a very big eye for a very small fish. There we go. Now we're going to use, I'm going to use red for the fins, and the same sort of thing. Just grab some, use your fingers just to squash it into the shape that you sort of, almost the size that you want. And now for his tail. Just shaping that into his tail. Now, this might need a little bit more here. I can see that that's a very small area to connect that tail to the fish, so I might just get a little bit more of my blue just to make sure that's nice and strong. So I might make a couple of little balls there just to make sure that's connected on areas on there. There we go. Now I'm going to do some decoration on the fins. I'll have some white stripes. I'm going to continue just finishing off my tail and the head of my fish, so you can feel free to watch me or continue working on your own fish. That was so much fun. I can imagine lots of different colour combinations, lots of different patterns, stripes and spots on the fins and on the tails. I hope you use your imagination and create a really crazy, wild, colourful fish. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.